Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulation.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
Hello. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. Mike and Jay. Shalom, Biggie. Hello, Jay.
Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
I'm great. It's good to be back for another week of the Detroit Cast, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Coming off the weekend. Hash Bash over the weekend. I didn't make it out there.
No, me either.
Yeah, you didn't take the kids out to Hash Bash?
I did not.
No, I'm surprised at that. E and I went out and saw Bobby Kelly
Bobby?
doing stand-up. God, that
Heard it was really good, huh?
that Ant Hall. You know, it's kind of confusing because there's like Planet Ant across the street, which was I guess their original club. But it's just this really, you walk in, you're like, where the hell am I? It looks like a haunted house almost.
Yeah.
Really cool, artsy, just like dive place, but really cool, very, very cool. And Bobby just took the stage and absolutely murdered for an hour. It was great.
Good,
it was really good. The opening comics were strong, too. I don't know who that black guy was, E, but he was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good. I wish I could plug him because...
Good crowd, though?
Yeah, it was full. I mean, for what they had, it wasn't that many seats, but it was just like folding chairs. Like, picture going into like a high school gym where they're having wrestling. They've set up wrestling, and it's like
Like an auxiliary gym or something?
Yeah. And so they got folding chairs set out. It's just like a stage, and Bobby was fantastic. Though. It was really, really good. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. A couple listeners came out. That's always good to see them out there supporting. How was your weekend?
I had a lot going on, actually. Friday, thank you to our fine listener, Crack, who happened to be moving, and that benefited you and I quite a bit, and that we got a bunch of fucking exercise equipment, man.
Did you take a bunch of stuff?
Dude, he had a whole trailer full of shit for Gab. It was really nice.
Yeah.
So did that Friday. It was good to see
I was wondering
him.
why I only had, by the time he got to my house, 'cause
Yeah.
he visited Gab first, he was like, dude, take your pick, whatever you want. And I'm like, well, it's treadmill for sure. We'll see.
He pulls up. It's empty, but for a treadmill.
But for a treadmill.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I guess I don't get kettlebells and
Kettlebells.
Kettlebells
You get no
and-
kettlebells.
and I don't get a elliptical machine.
Nope.
None
It's
of
in my
that
basement.
stuff.
It's in my basement.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Good.
That was
I
cool.
wouldn't have used it anyways. I don't like those elliptical. Those are hard. I didn't like using those.
Okay.
Yeah.
You going to use the treadmill, though?
Fuck yeah.
You're not just going to hang clothes on it like 90%
Well,
of Americans do?
Maybe. No.
I don't get why you don't like them because I think that it would be better for you.
It is.
Like
Way
than
better.
These. No, the elliptical.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
I just don't like using
Okay.
them. I've tried, and I just, for whatever reason, I'm just not crazy about them. So I take the pain. I fought through the pain with my fancy treadmill. But yeah, he came over here. That was great. I hung out with him for a while. He's a good dude. Good
Cool. Also, dude, I went go-karting for the first time in a long time.
Really?
Go-karting.
How fucking fun is
Oh,
go-karting?
my God.
If you get the right go-karts.
These things are like really ultra-modern compared to the last go-kart I was in. The last set, usually you go to these things and you get a dog and you're like, fuck, I can't catch anyone and this
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah.
These things were badass.
Really?
Oh.
Those ones that do like 90, just like...
It feels like 90. It's
Yeah.
probably more like 15. But
no, they're doing more than 15.
well, whatever it is.
What was the one we used to go to? I think we'd get a nice little buzz on. They had like batting cages and...
Like a C.J. Barrymore's or something?
No, it was in like Livonia. It was like the only one around for a long time.
I never went to that with you.
You definitely did.
No.
Yep.
You're thinking of someone else.
No,
different guy.
No. Me, you, and Dost and T-Roy, we would all make the venture out there, and it was a go-kart track. But it was like you said, like all of a sudden Deuced would be dominating
Yeah.
around the ring, and you're like...
Somebody takes
he's
the governor
talking
off
shit.
one,
Yeah.
so one of them's flying. They're all gas at that point.
Yeah.
Nothing's electric.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was cool. We threw Sweet Pie in one.
Tanniger! Wait, she's not old enough to...
No, we lied about her age.
Oh, you did. Did she
Third,
know you?
third child. It's like...
Yeah. Isn't
know-
that funny how that works?
It really is. Like when we were in Costa Rica a couple of years ago, my whole family was down there, and we're like, we have to go zip lining. Like that's what you do if you're in Costa
Sure.
Rica. And so nobody was going to stay back with the Sweet Pie if she didn't want to go.
Hell
So we're
no.
just like, yeah, you're going too. And she's first one down,
Yeah,
like,
she's a
oh
little
my God,
ballsy.
what are we doing? We're throwing her the little Sweet Pie like 400 feet above the, canopy.
Yeah. You would not have done that with Manny
No,
right out of the gate.
probably not, honestly.
Yeah.
But
No,
there she is. She had to get a booster seat and everything to get her close enough to the pedals.
Really?
Yeah.
Was she hauling balls?
By the end, she was.
Yeah. She's a little
Timid
she's a
at
little
first,
hellion.
but then she went.
Yeah. I remember doing that when I was a kid. I think my parents lied about our age for boats. We were down in like Florida or something.
Oh, those little individual boats before
Yeah.
they really had wave runners. I remember those.
And I remember crashing into a wall and being like not moving, like just like sitting there, and I think I was just embarrassed.
Yeah.
And they just shut everything down. And come get
Oh,
us.
you were that guy?
Which is it's so douchey to even talk about.
Was it
right
one of
now.
these like pond things? It was all contained.
Yeah. Yes. It was like
So it wasn't like you were like out on the beach and you're like,
No, no,
stay
no.
within 100 yards.
No, it was just like an oval track maybe, and it was electric. I remember you had paddles, like you held the left and right together, and then it would go, and you're just on the water. But I was young; I was just a wisp of a child.
Bob's like, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
And
my
it's got
dad-
walls. It's got walls.
He would have thrown me in a NASCAR at that, but he wouldn't have given a shit at all. He'll be fine. But yeah, those are fun as hell, man. And those new go-karts they have today, whole different ball game. So you got to take a spin yourself.
Yeah, that was fun. Super fucking expensive, but fun.
Yeah. Those things are expensive as hell.
It's like you look at them and you go, how can this place afford to have like 25 of these things? And you go, oh, because
Yeah.
it's $18 per race. That's why.
Yeah. What do you get, like 3 laps or something? And they time
it
you.
was more than that. It was like 6 or 8 laps, something like
Yeah.
that. But it was still a little pricey.
Oh
but
man, I want to go do that right now. Go-karts are like my favorite thing. You know that, right?
yeah, it's a great place to go. I'll take you up there sometime.
Did you spin any kids out?
No, I was so far in front of everybody.
Oh, really? Were you the guy?
I won the race. Let's put it. I beat Manny by 0.1.
Really?
Yeah, but he's arguing about the clock and all this stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
Manny, clock doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Clock does not lie.
Clock is what it is, man.
Someday, buddy, beat
Yeah.
your old man, but not today.
No, you can't lose to Manfred now. Forget that.
Speaking of Manfred, I spent all day at percussion today, percussion competition. So my ass hurts from sitting on bleachers, but
How'd they do?
did well.
Yeah.
Did quite well. It was
Now
fun.
he's part of a system where they've got 3 high schools that come together, and then their percussion team is huge,
No,
and so they kind of dominate the field, right? That's Manny's team, I think, right?
Don't get me started. No, he's part of one high school, and they did very well.
I thought you were allowed to put up to 3 high schools together.
Can't do that.
Yeah. So what does that mean? It's just the drummers and stuff, just the percussion team together.
Yeah, it's like snares, the quads or whatever you call it. Yeah, quads, I guess.
just the little toms in
yeah,
front of it.
yeah, and then and the bass drums, cymbals, and then the front line, all the like the what do you call them, the xylophone things. I should know more. Should know more about this. I've spent hours and hours watching these things.
Okay, can you tell me this? And I don't want to be a dick about this, but is there any aspect of the band that you go, yeah, that's these guys work really hard to get where they are, but
Yeah,
'cause you look at
there's definitely some kids who you can tell they're freshmen or whatever. They don't know what they're doing, so they put them on like one cymbal off in the corner.
triangle kid.
Yes, definitely. There's
Yeah.
a triangle kid.
But I've always looked at the bass drum, the big bass drum one. I guess that's harder.
Dude, it's hard when you've got
But-
5 of them going with a certain feature or rhythm to their feature.
But the big cymbal guys are like,
Yeah, that's probably the easiest of the people moving around. I
yeah.
think that goes without saying.
Not to rag on anybody,
Yeah.
but I get the same recognition for being in the band, part of the team, as everybody else. Crazy weekend, man. A lot going on. I watched a good documentary over the weekend that I think you would like.
Do you want to talk about it now, Mike?
We can. Here's the problem. It gets kind of technical, and I'm not real good with technical things, so I can just kind of give you an overview.
Sure.
It's called.
I think that's all we'd expect. We wouldn't expect you to get
Yeah.
too technical about this.
I'm always terribly frustrated because for the longest time in my life, I just believed that, you know what, those people in our government are looking out for my best interest. They want to keep me safe, and that's what they want to do. And thank God they're on my team. And then you learn through whether it's the Looming Tower documentary that you've been watching, or not documentary but movie
Drama.
You learn that there's infighting and pettiness and jealousy, and it goes against the greater good of everything, and it can have catastrophic consequences. And
Yeah, we're
that's
definitely like squarely in second guessing mode of 9/11, aren't we?
yes, and that's what this one was. It's called A Good American, and I believe it's on Netflix. And but it's about this guy who was just like a nerd. He was a fucking math nerd. He's one of these guys, and early in his career, like in the 60s, he's getting code, like Russian code, and he's trying to crack it. And so he's got to figure out what the puzzle is. What are they saying? And this dude can figure out, and all the people that worked with him are like, oh, dude, best in the world. This guy's amazing, brilliant mind, and he's cracking these codes and like, oh, here's where this is going on. And like figured out when the Tet Offensive was going to happen in Vietnam, warned people who didn't listen to him, except one of his friends listened, and he lost one soldier while the rest of the groups lost 2,000. Because this guy was planning ahead like, okay, I'm going to have 24-hour watches in the trenches because my boy here says that this shit's going down. And so you see
You're
stuff
saying
like that.
he was receiving chatter, and so he was
breaking
it?
code. Yeah, he was breaking code and seeing where things were going, and people are like, you're full of shit. What do you know? And so anyway, you fast forward all these years later, he's working with the earliest inceptions of the NSA and stuff, and what we know today as the NSA. And he gets his first little IBM computer. One day it's just there on his desk. And so he calls his buddy down. He's like, I'm thinking about plugging codes into this thing, and you hit enter, and it spits out a number, and then it makes sense and everything. It's answering questions. This is where the technical part comes in that I'm just going, it's just answering the questions for you. It's telling you where this shit's going on, however that works, right? He's figured out with this tiny little IBM. So he's got a buddy. He's like, hey, dude, do you think you could write some code to make this easier, to make this work? And the guy's like, yeah, I think I could do that. And so they work together, and basically they've got this little IBM that is now more powerful than the mass systems of computers that the whole government has. And so in time, he starts figuring out how to look at chatter. He wants to look at everybody's communications worldwide. And they're like, yeah, dude, there's like 7 billion people on the planet. But in his mind, it makes sense. He's like, yeah, but you look for the patterns. So you got 7 billion dots on this globe, and you're looking at hot spots, and you're looking at email correspondence, phone correspondence, text correspondence. You're looking at all these things, and you can kind of pull them out and look
He's
at
like,
this.
You have all that, right, government? They're like, oh, yeah, we have all that.
Sure we do. And so it makes sense to him, and he's figuring out, like, where Osama bin Laden's crew is and how they're communicating. And he starts breaking these codes. Well, new governments come in, and regime changes, and next thing you know, we've got he's really worried, like, we've got to find a way to make sure that the American people don't get, like, you can't spy on the American people, which is what the NSA did. Michael Hayden and them were like, oh yeah, we would never look at correspondence from American people. Bullshit. They're looking at everything. They have every correspondence you've ever done.
Now I got you.
Michael Hayden's team comes in, and they're like, yeah, we've come up with a new program too that's gonna be sweet. It's awesome. Gonna be able to tell where all the terrorists are. Well, these guys are already working on it. They've been working on this, team of 5. We're working on this for decades. They've got this shit down to a science. But Michael Hayden's buddy gets this $1 billion contract, and so now you can see money is influencing. And these guys are going like old school as shit. These guys are, the team that's been working on this forever is looking at this going, yeah, this will never work. This is a disaster waiting to happen. And so as time goes on, these guys are just met with roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, to the point where they're like, yeah, we don't want you holding any meetings, discussing this program with anything. And they dismantle this program and trash it 3 weeks before 9/11. They finally shut this fucking thing down. And so they try to shop it to other agencies, FBI, all these other groups. And it's, they're comparing their results versus this other team's results. And they're finding where all the terrorists are and what they're saying, what they're doing, where these people are failing miserably. And so these guys are 100% convinced this would have picked up, without question, the guys in San Diego communicating with the guys in the Middle East, the plane schedules, everything. 9/11 would have been stopped had they not shut this fucking program down. And now it's to the point where they've raided these guys' houses. They've destroyed every evidence that this program existed. And trying to just shut everything down. But it's just so frustrating.
Oh, wait. We have this whole conspiracy at the bottom of this? You're saying that people are claiming this didn't exist?
Well, no, the government's trying to just shut it down, kill evidence, destroy evidence that this existed. But all these high-level people are like, oh, yeah, dude, this guy's been working on, this team, they've got the results. I mean, it's not that it didn't exist. But anyway, I probably just did a horrible job of explaining it. But if you're into that stuff, it gets a little deep, but it's fascinating. It's a fascinating look, and it's, like I said, it's just really frustrating to to see how many of these groups are not working together for the greater good. They're looking to line their own pockets or their buddies' pockets, and what?
Humans are just assholes.
I know, we're
We're fucking
the worst.
selfish assholes. We all think that we're better than animals, quote unquote, and we're fucking not. I'm sorry, we're not. We're not fucking better. Most of us aren't. There's a lot of nice people, but there's a lot of shitheads that just, they don't care if they're fucking right or wrong. They just want their ego to be stroked or their dollar to get pocketed. And it's like, fuck, man.
Well put.
Well
Jesus.
put.
Fucking
Jesus.
hate people.
I know what you were saying, Ian. I agree with you on a lot of that, but
Everybody, please check out the Detroitcast listener business page. It's a page under the Help the Show tab on our website, DetroitCast.com. The page includes businesses that are owned by listeners. Take a look. It'd be great to support the supporters of the show. This week's featured listings are The Blind Biz. Everybody loves The Blind Biz. They specialize in all types of custom blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a call today. Free in-home consultations and free installations. They serve all of Metro Detroit. Also, Craig over at DRKM Strategies. They specialize in helping independent small businesses grow by using proven internet marketing methods. Craig's working with us. He's great. They entice new customers to find you online. Craig is very easy to work with. Give them a call today.
did you see that bus crash over the weekend?
Yeah, man.
The hockey
Is it
team?
Saskatoon?
Something like that. Yeah. The
Up in Canada?
yeah,
Neighbors
God,
to the
dude,
north.
just awful to see that thing. And I know, as a parent who has kids involved in higher level sports, that's got to be the ultimate nightmare for a parent sending a kid on to.
Yeah, I mean, kids are all the time going on shit, Like Manny up to his percussion thing today. You throw him on a bus and
Yeah.
see you there.
Well, dude, I told you about the one when I went with the church to
Lord Jesus, right? Or whatever.
Mike harkens back to this church bus trip so many times.
Till we wiped out on the freeway.
This is like a moment in his life.
No, I went on a couple of them. I went on a couple of them that were week long, driving from Detroit to Breckenridge.
But that was when the driver was like,
"Oh Lord Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ!" We're fishtailing along the freeway and slam into a pole. It's like, dude,
bag up.
that thing flips. You
Yeah.
lose. Thank God Jesus heard us in that moment and saved us.
It's like a big Greyhound
Yeah, it was
one of those
one of those big.
touring buses.
And I want to say it was like 2:30 in the morning too. So everyone's like passed out. You
Wake
just
up.
wake up.
Whoa!
Lord Jesus Christ, grab the wheel. It's terrible. But
Well, this one hit a semi, right?
the Humbolt Broncos, yes, in Saskatoon. I guess it was a 3-hour line at the blood bank there. They've raised all kinds of money, but when you start hearing of, there were 29 people on that bus, including the driver. 15 died. Imagine being the parent going, "Oh shit, there's a 50-50 chance my kid is alive."
Well, and if he's
somewhere.
alive, he's probably gravely injured, right? I mean,
Some of 'em,
major
yeah.
head injuries and
Yeah.
neck injuries.
But you'd rather have him gravely injured than dead, I would think, for the most part.
I would.
Yeah, an entire country is in shock and in mourning. Justin Trudeau said that, so I'm just like,
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
That guy said that.
Is it bad that whenever I read a statement from him, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, no.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
I
I
do
thought
the
you were
same
gonna
thing.
go. I thought you were gonna go to, and I know this is so ridiculous because what are they supposed to say? But when someone says a whole country is in, I mean, dude, there are people that don't even know this happened and don't care. I'm just.
He always goes right to the core of parsing literal words.
I know,
in
but
these
I-
circumstances.
As if Justin Trudeau is supposed to go.
Is it really the whole country? He surmises.
I know, but
it might not be.
It's what I think of.
As if Mr. Trudeau is supposed to go. An entire country. Hold on, let me back that up.
I'm just saying.
Most of the country, there are probably pockets
Yeah,
somewhere.
We
in the
got to be
northern
honest with
region.
you. They're probably up in the Yukon territory.
I don't think you have to say the country. I think you could just say
when you
obviously
get into
this
French
has affected
Quebec.
a lot of people, and it's terrible.
Oh, my God.
I would give him a pass on this one and say the entire country. I would think it's safe to say that the percentages are so great that you can get away with saying the entire country. My problem is I hear it from him in his mouth and I just go, "Oh, you're such a douche," though.
We like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind.
It's more inclusive, going on his sorry tour. Remember that sorry tour he went on?
Yes.
Oh, such a douche. So, this is every parent's worst nightmare. No one should ever have to see their child leave the place for what they love and never come back. Canadians have come together to support the victims' families, and there's a GoFundMe. It's raised $2.5 million in 48 hours.
Is that Canadian or American?
Which one's worth more now? It used to
U.S.
be. Is U.S. worth more again?
Yeah.
Because I thought Canada was catching up bigly for a while there. Like I said, a 3-hour wait to give blood. Collision took place Friday at 5 o'clock. Tractor-trailer truck and the bus crashed in Saskatchewan. There were about 29 on the bus, and they were headed to the town of Nipawin for a semifinals playoff game when the accident took place. Humboldt's mayor, Rob Mensch, said that hugged people as they came because everyone just like flocked to their home stadium, and you get the candles and flowers. I didn't see much Mylar. No. I didn't know. Not that I was looking for it, but it
might be a cultural difference. It's pretty far up there.
Yeah, true. So they all went to the Elgar Peterson Arena in Saskatchewan to comfort each other. It's overwhelming. We're a small community. Some of those kids have been on the team for a number of years. A lot grew up in the community, and everybody knows each other. The team is on its way to play Game 5 of the semifinal against the Nipawin Hawks. I don't know. I mean, it sounds petty at this point. Really, it doesn't matter, but...
Hawks move on.
I mean, is that what happens?
The Hawks move on.
I mean...
Could they field a team?
It was a forfeit, right?
Was that what happened? I was wondering if you could field a team, though.
It's horribly insensitive. I apologize to our neighbors to the north, but I think it is a fair question because they don't say in the story, like, obviously the Hawks move on. I don't know what they would do. I mean,
what was this?
Were they locked up in a 2-2 series?
I was going to say, you said it was Game 5. You didn't say whether it was 3-2 or...
Yeah. I mean, is that how you... If you're the Hawks, do you really want to clinch it that way?
You don't, but what are you going to do?
Hey, you'll take it, right?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, no, but if it's 2-2, they should be able to field... Even if they were to give that game away, they'd only be up 3-2, and you think they couldn't... They could get 20 more people that could get on the team, right?
So what are you guys saying? Like, if the remaining 14 players that live...
Should we offer our services, gentlemen?
I can't skate.
You can skate good enough. All we have to do is take the ice, Mike. You never know what could happen. It could be a miracle.
I could play goalie, maybe.
Yeah.
If I got to wear
oversized
perfect. Shit.
I've always wondered why they don't just put sumo wrestlers in goal.
Dude,
I do not understand that.
Why not just stuff 3 defensemen in net?
Well...
3 defensemen?
Yeah.
Because then it'd just be 5-on-2 the whole game.
I know, but they can't get... Dude, you're stuffed in the net, shoulder to shoulder. There's no scoring.
Okay,
all we need to start taking face shots and shit. Just be like,
I wear a visor.
Well, then how is it? Well, how's your offense doing? And then you have offside.
We just need one breakaway, dude. One breakaway.
Well, the fat goalie is the more
obvious
question. Why is there not just a sumo?
I don't know. Just have him stand there like
yeah,
big brick shithouse.
Don't they have rules against like oversized jerseys, like against wands?
They do, but if you're legitimately 400 pounds, then you're 400 pounds.
But you'd need to be more than 4. You'd have to get one of those fucking guys that needs to be craned out of his house when he's got to go to the hospital.
Crane him out of his house, crane him into the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you could, even if it's a female, you get one of those 1,400 pounders and just.
I mean, granted, these guys are fucking surgeons. They're just snipers. They can hit any little area. But dude, you're gonna take 99% of that net if you get the right Jabba the Hutt looking dude or chick.
I think you could. Yeah, if you could just get him on blades.
Yeah.
Some wide shoulders.
Does the goalie have to be on blades? I mean, could we put him on double blade? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Is that a rule? I guess
does he have to have a stick?
You have to be on skates, right?
Maybe.
Technically in tennis, like you can serve underhand in tennis. Like you can serve underhand, you can throw underhand free throw. I mean,
so skates are just an advantage to hockey players. Think about it.
Well, I think you could have double skates. That's my point. Is I think you could have.
You are on ice. Skates would be.
It's quite an advantage. It is preferred, but is it a rule?
If you know how to skate,
is it a rule?
It's probably not. Like if you chose, I don't want blades. Like, well, dude, it's on ice. Blades will help you.
I don't care.
Yeah, but I'm 1,400 pounds and I can't skate, so I'm not. I'm just gonna wear some Nikes out there, and
Nikes. Nikes.
Why not? Whatever. Just stuff them into the net. There's got to be a rule. There's probably people screaming right now going, dude, there's a rule.
Man. That's interesting. Is it a rule? Or is it just
would the rule
preferred?
be a weight rule?
Why don't you Bing this? You could probably Bing.
What would the rule be, dude?
No, on weight. I'm talking about the weight. I don't know.
There's no rule on weight.
Then why isn't there? I don't think they would even need to worry about the skate thing anyway. Just stand them there. Just lean them against the fucking back of the net.
I think you do have to worry about the skate thing. You are putting a lot of tonnage on 2 little blades, and if I'd prefer not to. If I don't have
to. Maybe if you just shaved them down to really, really thin blades. Like, they don't get those fucking...
just a centimeter off the ice.
Yes.
Oh, they're blades.
Dude, I've got blades on.
Yeah.
Why not? See if you can find any rule that says you can or cannot just stuff a sumo in 900-pound guy.
That's not
net.
what you Bing, E. You Bing, do you have to wear skates, dude? Don't worry about weight and all that shit.
There's got to be a reason that nobody's tried it. Remember, because baseball tried it with a midge.
Because they think he's not going to be athletic enough. They're like,
But if he takes up the whole net, who cares?
I understand, dude. I was the one who presented this argument. I know what the argument is. But I'm telling you, real teams are going to, oh, it's a goddamn sideshow. We're not doing that. We need a guy who's athletic enough to get to the corners and get the puck out.
Remember that wee midget?
Hard off the glass all day long.
Remember the wee midget?
Yeah, I remember the
baseball,
wee midget.
pro
Absolutely.
baseball.
Yeah,
and it was like,
and it was a sideshow, and it's forever more known as a sideshow.
Well, you win a game and it goes down in history. So you stuff one fatso in net.
Yeah, baseball's not above that. They'll have those guys, play every position during a game. One inning they're in right field, the next they're in center, all that shit.
All right, Rule 302. Jay, you're very familiar with Rule 302.
That's right, Rule 302.
On skates. This is, of course, Section 3 in the equipment part of the handbook. All participants must wear hockey skates of a design. This is where we get into the, no, you cannot have 1 centimeter tall blades,
This
asshole.
is how they get around this.
Approved by the Rules Committee. The use of speed skates, figure skates, or any skate so designed that it may cause injury is prohibited.
Dude, speed skates. They've already thought of all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Figure skates.
When the ref becomes aware that any player is wearing skates that are not designed for hockey and are deemed to be unsafe, he shall order that player off the ice immediately, and such player shall not be permitted to participate further.
What if our guy can't get off the ice?
Great point. Well, that you would probably have to put a rope around him or something and drag him off the ice. We're talking about altering the bench and how wide the gate is. There's some serious
where
alterations.
the Zamboni comes out, taking out the Zamboni exit.
Yeah. You would have to.
All right, so he's got to be on skates, but it doesn't solve the problem as to why somebody doesn't do this other than the sideshow aspect.
I would bing
Get
rules
big,
for
at least
goalies.
a big fucker, If not for somebody who is just going to stand there and be a lump in front, at least get a bigger guy. I mean, these guys are, they
Chris
are.
Osgood is not a big dude.
But there's been some big guys, 6'4", 230 or something like that.
Not big enough.
Right. That's what I'm
double that up.
saying.
You could double that up for sure.
Widen it out. Get a WWE guy in there.
I'm serious. I would bing hey, why not have a sumo wrestler in net for an NHL team? Just see what comes up, because we might find that there are rules for this. Anyway, so I don't know if I'm assuming Nippon moves on. Again, not that it matters right now.
Go Hawks.
Did you see this picture that was going around of the 3 boys in the hospital bed all holding hands?
No.
Can you tell what that image is?
Yeah.
It was funny. I saw that picture going around on Twitter, and I don't know if you've seen this before, but anytime a photo like that lands, you'll start seeing media outlets. Hey, I'm terribly sorry for your loss. Do you mind if do we have your permission to use this image on all of our outlets, media outlets? The ABC News producer will write that. And can we use it on our online stuff and on our news programs? And then immediately it's like, you fucking get out of here. People get so pissed when the media wants it. It's like,
Oh, I've never noticed that.
yeah, I noticed it a lot, and I noticed it with this picture. The problem I had with this, and I'm not going to fault the father. Obviously, he's got a lot more on his mind. He was a comma away from making this make sense, because there's 3 boys there, and if you read that,
Derek Grayson and Nick. Yeah, Derek Grayson.
Yeah.
I think is one person, and Nick. Bonding and healing in hospital.
yeah, and I was like, well,
Is this
Derek
really
Grayson.
the time? Is this really the time, Mike?
Well, it was like Derek Grayson, Nick, and who's the third guy? Who is that? And then I was like, I bet it's Derek, Grayson, and Nick. I also noticed there were 4 Logans on the team.
Of course.
Yeah.
They're 15, 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
Connors, Logans.
Hockey was what brought us up. This was a weird statement, I thought, by Rob Munch. He's the Humboldt mayor. He's wearing a Humboldt Broncos jersey, and he's talking. He was the one that went to the stadium and met with the parents and stuff. Hockey was what brought us all together, and we had 2 communities that were rivals in the rink. So he's talking, obviously, about Nipawin and Humboldt.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 communities that were rivals in the rink. To find out that it was their first responders that aided our boys just warms your heart. And I was like,
It's just so trite to even put it into sports terms,
well, yeah, as if they're
going to go, oh, shit, that's the opposing team. Fuck them.
Dude, we're in the middle of a deadlock series here.
I support the Hawks, not the Broncos.
Yeah, my community's going to be pissed if I save one of these kids' lives.
Really, it warmed his heart to hear that?
No, it would be criminal as shit if they did. Why wouldn't they? They're first responders. They don't care what team.
They're human beings.
Yes, human beings. What do you got?
Here's the thing, though. The goal. The goal is 6 foot by 4 foot.
We need a chode. We need a fucking chode.
We need a Coke can.
Wide is even for a big fat guy, is not going to be safe.
Yeah, but if he's
what's the
stout,
widest-
and if he, does the broad shoulder look with his arms down,
Just saying.
Because he does have that blocker on. Can he wear two blockers?
form an upside
Well, what
down
someone
letter
said
U.
too, I guess, is
just
that-
be a letter U.
You're
Yeah.
right about the pad sizes. So, like, the pad sizes don't just change based on how big he is. So, like, even if he was a certain, bigness, the pad size, they just wouldn't cover all his legs. Like, they would just be like...
so our goalie's pads look like shin guards.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Does he have to wear a blocker and a glove? Can he just go double blocker? Because those squares or rectangles.
Right.
Yeah, but he's
6 feet, dude. I mean...
Double blocker.
Our goalie's just double blocker.
Just a wall.
That's all
We're
he
just
is.
trying to build a wall.
Yes. That's it.
Listeners, listen up. Zott Ford has a fabulous opportunity for you. Because of Zott Ford's growth, they're expanding their team. Salespeople, auto technicians, and service advisors are a few of the available opportunities. If you're ready to make a substantial income with excellent benefits and perks, plus have fun and enjoy coming to work, go to ZottFord.com and click Join Our Team. Choose your job and submit your application, or if you have dealership experience, pick up the phone and call Gabara directly at 248-215-5102. He'd love to talk with you.
Should we call McCarty and ask him?
If you can put a big fat
Yeah,
goal.
I just want to ask a guy like him, dude, why couldn't you just put an 800-pound guy in net? Just stuff him in net, give him double blockers. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Should we just dial
He's
him
going to
up?
mention the mobility factor, and then he's going to say what I said, too, is these fuckers are surgeons, and if you leave just a 3-inch hole above his shoulder, they're going to hit it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, maybe we can call him later. But I don't mean to sound like we're making fun of this story. Some of those comments were a little weird about, the other teams, first responders. I thought it was odd, and some of the trivial things. But I know, this sport, it's it's as important as anything in Canada as hockey, and seeing the devastation in those areas, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The Me Too movement still going on. We're still in the Me Too era. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're familiar. Can Molly Ringwald go the fuck away? Did you see her over the weekend?
Yeah, about Breakfast Club. Don't ruin Breakfast Club, Ringwald.
Dude, I don't even know how to word this anymore. You understand that time moves on and people behave differently and they grow, but we don't look back and just go monsters. People weren't trying to be monsters. Those were relevant movies at the time.
Great movie.
Didn't Spielberg come out and say something about a woman could be Indiana Jones? I think he's come out and said that. Oh yeah, that could be a woman.
Of course.
I mean,
Sure
I guess, but it wasn't. There was a character.
But you realize even a man can't be Indiana Jones. It's a fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Very good point.
There's no such thing as Indiana Jones. You wrote it. It was a dude. So no, it couldn't be a chick. You could write a new movie, but Indiana Jones is already taken.
Tomb Raider.
There you go. So Molly revisited her hit film, huge movie at the time, Breakfast
It's
Club.
one of my favorites.
Great soundtrack, great movie. After her daughter asked to watch it, and so she's like,
Oh
"All
no!
right."
Uh-oh, here we go.
She figures okay, well,
Here we go.
we can watch this. She figures my daughter is way more woke than I was at her age. She's going to be troubled by some aspects of this film. This is going to be tough. But what Molly found was it was actually Molly that was more troubled with aspects of the film. Is it weird to sit down with your 10-year-old daughter and watch an R-rated movie, by the way?
Yeah, I'm not sure I have done that.
Yeah.
I mentioned a couple dick jokes in Jumanji that I had to sit through with the suite.
Is Jumanji R-rated?
No, it's PG-13. So
Cartoon.
yeah, no, it's not a cartoon. But I wouldn't want to sit and watch Breakfast Club with the suite by the tiny girl.
No, that would be embarrassing, dude. It's like watching Porky's
Plus,
with your
she's
boys.
only 10 if she wants to go go-karting. She's not even 10 yet.
Exactly. She's not even double digits.
No.
So yeah, she watched the film with her 10-year-old daughter. I hadn't anticipated that it would ultimately be me most troubled. That would be most troubled by this.
Hold on. It's wrong that she watched that movie with her 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, think about...
No, I was surprised you didn't react stronger than you did.
Well, I was just thinking, would I have Sweet Pie do that? No, of course I wouldn't. And then it's she just sits down, and then she's going to, criticize the basics of the movie. It's
Yeah.
no, dude, back up. You sat your 10-year-old daughter down to watch that movie, which Has a lot of sexual references and just shit that 10-year-old, shouldn't be real
I'm trying
privy
to think
to.
what else is in there. It must have just been language. Would have been strong.
Just a lot of sexual references, really. I mean, just the relationships between all of them. Mm-hmm. Some of them.
What is it? Ali Sheedy and Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah, Emilio
Judd Nelson.
Estevez.
Emilio. That's who I was trying to think of. He was the wrestler, right?
Yeah.
So, what scene do you think was the most troubling for her? If you had to pick one scene in that movie,
I'm not. It's been a while. Tell me.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't remember. I did when I read it, but she says,
when he's like describing the date or something, and she gets really shut up and gets all pissed off. He's like, "Got your panties off. I've rounded first base." Remember when he's trying to get her goat?
Yeah.
And he gets it.
Yeah, of course.
That's not what troubled her.
I don't know if that was part of the scene. It might have been. It might have been. You'll know more than I will. So, the part that bothered her most was when Claire Standish, who is Molly Ringwald's character,
sounds like a fat girl's name,
was inappropriately touched by John Bender, who was played by Judd Nelson. At one point in the film, Bender ducks under the table where my character Claire
right
is sitting
her legs
to hide from a teacher. Let's see. While there, he takes the opportunity to peek under Claire's skirt, and though the audience doesn't see it, it's implied that he touches her. I think she makes some face, kind of reacts, right?
I always imagined that he put his head toward her snatch. I mean,
Yeah.
and she just
Good
clenches.
move while you're there.
Yeah, I didn't read that as him like grabbing it with his hand, but I thought his face was going into it.
Okay. Ringwald said she was 16 at the time, so somebody else played her during that scene. So they had a stunt vagine.
Oh, that's right. They actually
there.
show the upskirt, don't they?
Like the panties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not hers though. They had a stunt vagine in there. She said her mom was even more embarrassed and upset by the scene and asked John Hughes to cut it out. What's more, as I can see now, Bender sexually harasses Claire throughout the film.
Yeah, he's a cocksucker.
Yeah, that's his role. He's
Yeah.
a bully. He's a dick face.
He's a bully. He's a burnout fuckface.
Yeah. When he's not sexualizing her, he takes out his rage on her with vicious contempt, calling her pathetic, mocking her as Queenie. Yep, that's how people reacted in high school when they... Despite Bender's constant harassment, he ends up with Claire at the end of the film, which is a nice lesson for kids to learn. I kept thinking about that scene. I thought about it again this past fall after a number of women came forward with accusations against Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too movement. If attitudes towards female subjugation are systemic, and I believe that they are, it stands to reason that the art we consume and sanction plays some part in reinforcing those same attitudes. Really, Molly? Did you just come to that conclusion
I know.
now?
Wow, you're affecting the culture?
Wow.
Holy shit.
Who would have thought? Why do you think you make the money you do? Why do you think people want to take your picture everywhere you go? Because you're having massive influence on society. You always have in Hollywood. Duh. She praised him for writing about what adolescents go through, but said he had a glaring blind spot, despite writing about sensitive topics. She was only vaguely aware when she was a teen about how inappropriate his writing was at the time. She recalled when she asked him to cut a scene in The Breakfast Club where a gym teacher was swimming naked in the school's pool while being spied on by the
They must have cut that.
Yeah.
It's definitely not in it.
by the school's villainous vice principal, Mr. Vernon.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. She also recalled another scene she got cut from 16 Candles when her character was asked by her father where her underpants were. Ringwald said her mom objected. Her mom sounds like a real pain in the ass. Cut that. I object.
Well, her panties were front and center in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, the dork she gave them to the dork so that he could impress his buddies.
Sure. Why would a father know what happened to his daughter's underwear, she asked. John squirmed uncomfortable. He didn't mean it that way, he said. It was just a joke, a punchline. But it's not funny, my mom said. It's creepy. And he changed the scene. There were other problems that she had with Hughes films, and those were the gay slurs and the absence of minority characters.
What about the donger?
Dude.
Long Duck Dong, the Chinaman.
Yeah. I mean, he
What
had
they
a
refer to
prominent
therein
role.
as the Chinaman.
Yeah. He had a prominent role. The Chinaman was huge. Long Duck Dong, dude. What was his
What's
line?
happening, hot stuff? Now I have a place to put my hand.
Doesn't he fall out of a tree?
No more Yankee my wanky. The donger needs food. Yeah, he had some classic moments in that movie.
Dude,
You declared that movie shit, though.
well...
Remember 3-4 years ago when I was like, dude, I'm telling you, it's one of the best.
Yeah, but that's like If I went and watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure now for the first time, it'd be like, what the fuck are you? This is the dumbest shit ever.
Right.
You know, whereas at the time it was awesome.
Right.
So I think that's the problem. For whatever reason, I never watched 16 Candles. Breakfast Club, I watched late, but not too late. It was still relevant enough. But 16 Candles just wasn't one of them. But John Hughes, I mean, dude, he was a legend. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, Planes, Trains, Automobiles.
Planes, Trains, Automobiles, one of the greatest movies ever.
Pretty much anything
Hilarious.
that came out of Chicago that was set in Chicago was a John Hughes film.
Yeah,
he did an amazing job.
Did you know he died in 2009, massive heart attack? I didn't realize that. Age of 59.
I thought it was while we were doing the show. Honestly, that seems too long ago.
Okay.
2009.
And then Tony Robbins. And some shit too. I met him once. He's a big guy.
Did he motivate you?
Yeah, sort of. He came in studio one day. Dude, I'm not kidding.
Isn't he like large featured? Like, isn't his head really big and shit?
But he's like 6'7".
Really?
Yeah. His hands, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. They're like when you go to the grocery store and get a bundle of bananas, it looks like a bunch of bananas. Like his hands are that fucking big. Huge.
Any chance he has giantism or some shit like that? I mean, he's kind of a
wouldn't surprise me.
Little bit of an odd looking dude, but
yeah, but he's big all over. Imagine he's got a huge dong or two, probably.
With all that confidence.
Yeah, why isn't everyone as confident as me?
Right.
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. The fucking 3-foot dong you got, sir. Maybe. I guess he was giving one of his motivational speeches in San Jose, California. And I think this was last month. I don't think this happened like 2 days ago, but you pay big bucks to go to those seminars for a weekend with him. And he's quite a piece of work. He comes out and motherfucks everybody, and like he wants to shock you with the language right out of the gate, shit like that.
Yeah, and isn't his thing he's gonna like teach you this magic of persuasion? He started out. I remember him in the '80s. He was selling like sales videos and stuff, right?
Yeah.
This is how you sell to people, and it was on VHS.
Yep. But you could buy it like a package. You know, you'd get fucking 8 tapes or whatever about how to be a better person. His whole thing too is about you're not a victim. Stop looking for other reasons why you're failing.
So he's far beyond sales now. He's more in life coaching.
Yes, yeah, and he's a giant, man. He's worth a ton of money. So he gets into it with a chick. His whole thing was about victimhood, and so the Me Too movement is a lot of, woe is me. I mean, not woe is me, but you can take that from it. And he's like, hey, man, get on with it. Don't let this shit hold you back. And so we've got video. Do you have video there, E, of some of it? So he gets into it with this lady, Nanine McCool, and she's like, I think you're like doing a disservice to the Me Too movement. Like you have a lot of power and stuff. And so he gets into it with her, and the Me Too movement got all pissed off at him. Go ahead, you can play a second of it here.
You're going to comply, and I'm going to be safe. And I talk to men all the time, and it breaks my heart for women, not for men. Because I just with someone the other day, very famous man, very powerful man, who's saying how stressed he is because he interviewed 3 people that day. 1 was a woman, 2 were men. The woman was better qualified, but she was very attractive, and he knew I can't have her around because it's too big a risk, and he hired somebody else. I've had a dozen men tell me this.
You are a leader and an influential man.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
are doing a disservice, in my opinion, to the Me Too movement. And I wish you were doing a disservice.
I
to the
can't
Me
do
Too
this, sir. So all I'm saying to you is this. Man or woman, Me Too, any movement you have. I'm pointing out needs, and I want you to understand. It's so easy to get seduced and you're meeting your needs through problems.
Yeah, it's hard without full context of his whole talk, to make a judgment whether he's way out of line or what.
I guess that portion, if you watch the whole video, is like 11 minutes long. And at one point, he's trying to make a point, and people took really big offense to this because he's a big dude, and he has her put out her hand, and he's got his fist, and he's driving her backwards, and he says something like, when you push someone else, it doesn't make you more safe. It just makes them angry. And I understood his point with that, the point he was trying to make, but people are like, he's running roughshod. He's trying to bully this poor woman, and use his size to bully her, blah, blah, blah.
And I can see the danger in just suggesting that Me Too is just all about, oh, woe was you, and move on. Get on with it, you know?
Yeah.
There's some real serious shit that was disclosed on Me Too.
Sure.
Where people, you know, I agree. The hashtag's gotten a bit out of hand and maybe a bit beyond where it was supposed to go at first. But you can't just tell people, yeah, you know, this isn't valuable at all. Just move on.
Well, Tarana Burke, I guess she's the founder of the.
I guess there's another hashtag for that too. If you need it, move on.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're all set.
We've got that one covered. Never again, too. You know, because we're not taking it anymore. So Tarana Burke is one of the Me Too founders. I didn't know that. Never even heard of her.
No.
But she was all pissed off, saying, "Oh, the video is much worse when you watch the whole 11 minutes. His misogyny runs deep." To even repeat that story of his friend who wouldn't hire the pretty woman as if it's the movement's fault and not the sexist man's fault is all you need to hear. It's deplorable. But so many folks misunderstand this work.
Oh, come on. That's not an original thought by him. That is something that reasonable people have stated is going to be a result from Me Too. It's just people are naturally going to go, you know what? I can't be surrounded by women. It's safer to just have a bunch of dudes working here. And that's an unfortunate consequence of this.
It's one that we talked about
like immediately.
Early. Like, careful what you wish for. What do you think's going to happen if it comes down to two candidates and it's like, she's a hot chick and you're like, fuck, man, I know I've got a bunch of animals working here. Like, what am I going to do?
Obviously, this is just a thought process. You can't say this or it's illegal.
Oh,
it's illegal to think it too, but you can't be proven, right?
Right.
But it's just something that people will naturally start doing. Like, fuck, you know, looking at women as problems instead, complete opposite of where this thing should have gone.
Yes. And I don't think that makes you a monster or misogynist or.
Makes you practical.
Yes. Dude, honestly, like, that's a real thing. Like, I don't know if you probably didn't see it in your line of work. Dude, I saw it all the time in my office place of work, where it was like the reaction to when the hot sales chick came downstairs was 100 times different than it was to the older lady or the not pretty lady, the classically not pretty lady. But when the hot 23-year-old new sales chick came down, she was given advantages and help that other people was like, dude, sink or swim. You're on your own. You're in sales. Go get it or don't. I don't give a fuck. And then you'd see some 23-year-old smoking hot chick shaking her ass downstairs, and it's like they're getting help from every creepy asshole in the building. Thinking what? I don't know, that they're going to hook up with her? Maybe. Who knows? But
it's no coincidence that most successful salespeople are really good looking.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to have an appealing looking person there. And you know, women have taken advantage historically of that fact just as much as powerful men have taken advantage of that fact. It's a yin and a yang. It's a give and a take. It's like women climb that ladder, and women know this. Men know this. E fucking despises this. E hates pretty women because of the advantages they get, the free drinks, the free meals, the handouts, and and all the stuff they get for just being that. They're just classically beautiful people. And beautiful people get more advantages than the rest of us.
As long as we're wired to procreate and continue our human race, there'll always be a piece of this.
So for someone in a position of power, a CEO, watching mountains of companies fold and what appears on the outside to be great employees, it doesn't make it right. I'm not saying this is right. Like you said, this is practical thinking. And the fact is, the bigger problem that I have with this is we've decided to settle all these things in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
There's not even a trial. I'm not saying these women are 100% right. Maybe 100% of these cases are merited and the men are 100% wrong. But you know what? They're not. They're not all 100%. Some people are looking to take advantage of the situation. It's just the reality of it. We're humans. We do that kind of stuff. We see things differently than each other from time to time. And when when you can't even question anything and it plays out in the court of public opinion, that's very un-American. And now it's left to me to prove that I wasn't an asshole to save the career that you've destroyed of mine. Like, dude, that's a problem. That's a problem that the Me Too movement has not addressed. And so when Tony Robbins, who by all accounts is a pretty decent dude, I mean, just, you know, helps millions and millions of people. Yeah, did he word things perfectly there? Probably not. But probably with not much malicious intent. But he did come out and apologize. afterwards. I was shocked at that today to see him say anything, but he's like, yeah, well, this recent event, my comments fail to reflect the respect I have for everything Tarana Burke and the Me Too movement has achieved. I apologize for suggesting anything other than my profound admiration for the Me Too movement. For 40 years, I've encouraged people to grow into the men and women they dream to be. I watch in awe as more and more women all over the world find their voice and stand up and speak out. All our growth begins with learning. My own started with a childhood marked with abuse. I guess he had a really abusive childhood. I teach that life happens for you, not to you. And what I've realized is that while I've dedicated my life to working with victims of abuse all over the world, I need to get connected to the brave women of #MeToo, blah, blah, blah. I'm committed to learning more. And I don't know, probably not the end of the world to come out and say something like that.
Yeah, no, there's no probably value in just sitting back and going, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah,
okay?
Too bad, bitch.
Oh, he's in the service industry and does not want to lose clients.
Yeah. So, anyway, why don't we take a quick break, Jay? And did you see the feud going on over the weekend? Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, Sean
Dude,
Hannity.
that was funny as shit. I don't know how much you saw of that.
I saw a little bit and then
on Twitter and whatnot. I thought that got pretty funny, and it looks like Kimmel has kind of taken a knee on some of this today, which I found interesting. And then we didn't talk about this last week, but did you see the video of Conor McGregor and the bus attack?
Yeah, what a nutbag, huh?
Well, there's new angles of that.
How much of it is staged and how much of it was him really freaking out, huh?
I think it was him freaking out, for real. And there's a 6-minute video that was put out by UFC today, and you see him really going off. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll watch some of that when we come back.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break. cast continues now, bitches. Here are Mike and Jay.
Alrighty. Welcome back to the Detroit Cast, Mike and Jay.
Mike, I noticed some new mulch outside.
Yeah.
Is your chick here?
Yeah, Max.
Yeah, she's got her trailer out front and all that
She's
shit.
been here a lot lately. I'm worried about the
Looks good.
cost. Yeah. Had to. Depending on what I do here, it's got to look better. So I don't need to go through another summer where you guys are making fun of me every day for what a shithole the place looks like and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Don't say it.
No,
Don't say it.
you're fine.
Thank you.
It's not going to be condemned.
Yeah. Not today, anyways. Mentioned Jimmy Kimmel, Sean Hannity, who I can't stand. Sean Hannity, that is. Why can that guy not go 5 seconds without having to completely repeat?
Oh, my God.
It's-
he has, like,
it's-
the same 12 bullet points. He just goes...
It's unbelievable.
And then she bleach bit at her computer.
Who could forget? Like, he's got to reset every third sentence.
I know.
And
That's weird.
And as you know, sir, I mean, the bleach bit. What about the 30,000 lost emails? How about the hammers that were
Dude,
taken to the fight? And you're like, dude, I know you've said this every fucking night for a year and a half.
I can't even watch that guy.
Yeah. Well, he did it again, but he's going after Kimmel. I guess Kimmel was making fun of the First Lady, Melania, as she was reading to kids at the Easter egg thing they were doing. And so she's got the book. You remember I read to the second grade class. It was very similar to that.
Yeah, Rainbow Fish.
Yeah, hell yeah. By Marcus Pfister. Let's let that sit right there. She didn't make any jokes like that for the audience. Which
Didn't make any
would have been
fisting
nice.
jokes for elementary school kids.
That went
That's
right over
good.
their heads. No problem.
Yeah,
no
not
harm,
the
no
teachers,
foul.
though. Not the teachers.
Yeah, or
so
yours.
there I am sitting there with, a 42-year-old
I
teacher.
stand by that fisting joke.
And having to suffer through that. Thank you.
Sure, anytime.
With my child in this teacher's class. But go ahead.
Notice I haven't been invited back either, which is weird. It sucks because I thought I did a pretty damn good job reading to the class.
Well, it's a new teacher. She's moved on. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. We could do it all over again. I'll read the Rainbow Fish the fourth grade class. We'll find out at which grade they actually get the fisting joke. You know what I mean? If we keep doing it. So anyway, her accent is what he was taking issue with.
Decent dat.
Decent that. And it's like, I think English is her fifth language.
Yeah.
And so...
Is she Slovakian? Is
something like that, yeah. And so Kimmel takes a simple decent that she finished. They're playing a clip of her reading the kids, and he's doing things like decent that, and he says decent that. Okay, not that big, not that harmful.
Hannity has had enough.
I'm laying down the gauntlet tonight. He must have said, which is why I'm laying down the gauntlet tonight 26 times. Every person he had on the panel, he had to let him know that he's not going to take it anymore, and he's laying down the gauntlet tonight.
As he's just talking to his echo chamber audience.
Yes. It was pretty fucking funny, though, because he went all in, which I found kind of hilarious because Kimmel has been shitting on Sean Hannity. Oh, I woke up today, I didn't know I was in a war with Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity spent 8 years unable to get an erection during the Obama administration. He's suffering with a year and a half long erection for Donald Trump now that won't go down, blah, 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 which I think some people took as a homo thing, like it's bad because you're hard for the president, like a man would be hard for another man. And so homos were pissed. And so Kimmel's got to apologize for homos that he might have offended, that whole thing. So they're going back and forth, back and forth. Well, what Hannity decided to do was talk without mercy about what a pervert Jimmy Kimmel is and the hypocrisy.
The Man Show.
Yes. And so he starts pulling clips and clips and clips. And I've laid down the gauntlet, as I said, and I'm going to do this every single night until this son of a bitch apologizes to Melania. And he's playing clips of a chubbier, Jimmy Kimmel on the streets.
Which is funny to me.
18-year-old girls about what's in my pants.
Yeah.
And got him rubbing his crotch area. And it just looks bad. The visual of it looks bad to have a 45-year-old man having a chick rubbing his dick and, oh, maybe you can feel it better with your mouth. And Kimmel's trying to play it off like, every one of those girls knew what they were in for and they all signed releases, it's fine. And he's like, oh, would you like it if your daughter was on the streets, Jimmy? And some 45-year-old creep like you was asking him to feel their crotches on camera, blah, 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 blah. And he's just pounding these clips. And I'm watching this and I'm laughing because the Man Show was funny. It had its time. Yeah. It had its place 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where things were much different. You know, when chicks jumping on trampolines would be way more accepted than it is now.
Genius, wasn't it?
Dude, it was
Could not take your eyes off that.
Oh, and it was just beer and chicks in bikinis.
I remember wanting to go. I thought, like, man, if it could last long enough, could I, be a member of the audience? Because they were all drinking in the audience. Remember, they'd all have their beers and the toast at the end or whatever.
Yep. And then they'd end it every night with the chicks on trampolines. But when you take isolated clips from that and then play them and lay them out as a serious news story, it just looks really bad. And I was sitting there thinking...
Yeah, especially since Jimmy has entered the world of politics.
And the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
We need to hear these women out who have been harassed sexually. All of a sudden, your past looks just as bad as everyone else's does. And Sean Hannity is laying down the gauntlet tonight. Laying down the gauntlet, and I'm not going to stop.
And apparently, because I'm sure they have looked, I'm sure they've combed through Hannity's life. Apparently, he's been a nerd all his life.
Yeah.
Done nothing wrong, right?
Squeaky clean, yeah, which means there's probably some dungeon in his basement with dead bodies. You know what I mean? We just don't know yet. Because his hairline alone.
That alone.
Is enough to make me go, there's something not right with that guy. Something not right. So anyway, I was surprised Jimmy Kimmel actually...
What was some of his responses to some of this stuff? Just what you said, kind of, you didn't know what they were in for?
Kimmel was trying, they were tweeting back and forth and just hammering each other. It was like, oh yeah, you pervert, what do you say to this? And then it was like, oh yeah, well, how would you like it since you're blowing Donald Trump every night? How would you like it if your daughter was grabbed by the pussy? Stuff like that. There's Kimmel's response. And so they're having this petty
Kimmel
thing.
attacks Trump, Hannity attacks Kimmel directly.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big difference. I mean... Right. Like I said, Hannity's got nothing in his background along those lines.
But all I could think was, because he kept doing ABC, owned by Disney, Sean kept throwing out, like, at Disney, Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Like, you're the Disney company. How do you feel about this guy having 18-year-olds grabbing his dick on video? I mean, is that cool? I guess that's cool with you guys. Cool. All right. And so I wondered how Kimmel was going to react to this, because I can promise you Kimmel does not want the next 2 months of Sean Hannity pulling more, because there's plenty of it. You could scour, dude. You could scour his radio shows from K-Rock back in the 80s and 90s.
Here's the thing, though. He's on their team, right? So isn't everybody just on their team now, in their tribe? So Hannity can keep hammering, but the left will excuse it because he's their guy now, right?
Yeah, but
Hannity is literally talking. Like, Hannity is the equivalent of Chris Matthews. Nobody from the left is watching Hannity. Nobody from the right is watching Chris Matthews.
Right.
They can't stand those two.
Right.
And so Hannity's talking to his audience that is the same every night and going over the same 12 bullet points. Matthews is doing his thing, and they're going to make him just look petty, or however they end up labeling him. Mm-hmm. It won't end up that Jimmy Kimmel has to leave his show. That's for sure.
No, I wouldn't think so. But Kimmel's ratings are not great right now. I guess he's losing in the late night, ranks as far as Colbert and Fallon.
But he is squarely committed to that side, so they will protect him.
Yes, but it's the hypocrisy, and
of course it is.
But
we're not looking at it.
But see, they do look at each other's things, because if Kimmel is referencing Hannity, his audience is going to go, "What's he talking about?" And they're going to see this. And
but what I'm telling you is Kimmel's audience won't give a fuck because he's their guy.
Yeah,
he's
but Bob Iger at Disney might.
He's that side's guy, man.
I know. But
I'd be surprised.
Well, I was surprised when Kimmel sent out this message. While I admit I did have fun with our back and forth, after some thought, I realized that the level of our vitriol from all sides, mine and me included, does nothing good for everyone, and in fact is harmful to our country. Even in 2018, the vile attacks against my wife and wishes for death on my infant son are shocking, and I encourage those who made them to give their words and actions thought. I, too, will give my words more thought and recognize my role in inciting their hatefulness. By lampooning Sean Hannity's deference to the president, I most certainly did not intend to belittle or upset members of the gay community, and to those who took offense, I apologize. I will take Sean Hannity at his word that he was genuinely offended by what I believed and still believe to be a harmless and silly aside referencing our First Lady's accent. Mrs. Trump certainly has enough to worry about without being used as a prop to increase TV ratings. I'm hopeful that Sean will learn from this and continue his newly found advocacy for women, immigrants, and first ladies, and that he will triumph in his heroic battle against sex harassment and perversion. Jimmy Kimmel. And so Hannity said, I will have my response on my show Monday night.
Can't wait, Sean.
I know, right? It's kind of funny.
Yeah. No, I think it's that apology is more indicative of him realizing just the amount of vitriol that he was going to continue to receive from Hannity's people, from the right. Yeah. And also just the overall lack of civility. And he's a smart enough guy, probably a decent dude. Looked at it and went, what am I doing? Yeah. Why am I doing this back and forth? This is not good for anybody.
And do I really need these clips being pounded anywhere this dude can put them out of me being,
Well, it's not going to stop Hannity from pounding them, probably. Anybody can pound those clips now, right? The word's out that those clips are out there if people didn't know. So I just don't see that guy suffering. He has committed to the left. The left loves him. He's Chuck Schumer's buddy. Mm-hmm. And he'll be fine.
We'll see.
Even if he has to move on from where he is, he'll be fine. He'll be set up with something.
I agree he'll be fine. Did you think that was much of an apology, or was that more like
backhanded?
Yeah, it's a backhanded thing. Your newfound respect for women, which is kind of a shitty thing to say, as if there's anything out there that in Hannity's past that shows a disrespect for women. I don't know what that's about.
No, again, he's just likening him to Trump. If you're a Trump supporter, then you hate women. You want to grab them all by the pussies.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Because Sean apparently is untouchable. He doesn't have anything in his past.
Yeah.
Because he's been out there hard charging for years, and nobody's been able to drum anything up.
I know. Well, it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see if he backs off, if he says, well, Jimmy learned, that this isn't going to go anywhere good for him, so we'll respect that and back off too.
Take that as a victory.
Yeah, take that as a victory. Take
Sean
a victory
Hannity
lap.
will do.
Because that's more than I thought Jimmy Kimmel would do. I thought Kimmel, knowing what we know about him, I thought he would just keep pounding. But, he obviously doesn't want to keep it going, so anyway.
I bet he's seriously got some major threats against him from the right. I mean, shit that's like freaking him out. Like, okay.
Sure.
This is not a good place.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't doubt at all that he's gotten death threats for his kid.
I mean, you see, like, we just read that tweet last week where I put up something about, hey, thanks Mike Lindell for showing us around the Pillow Factory, and you saw how political it immediately got.
Yeah.
And it's sick where we are. It really is.
The UFC released more video of Conor McGregor and his bus attack from a week ago. I guess it was about a week ago.
No, it wasn't. I was going to say it was Thursday, but...
Okay, maybe. Anyway, they've put more of these out, and Conor McGregor went on a rampage. This is at the Barclays Center. And it's shot from inside a bus carrying fighters for Saturday's UFC 223 event, showing him throwing a hand truck at the windows, glass shattering. One wrestler gets cut by the glass. Like, they're showing inside and outside footage. It's because the first video we saw was like 30 seconds long. He grabs a hand cart and chucks it into a window, which shatters the window. But 3 fighters ended up being scratched from the car due to the brouhaha. McGregor, he went berserk following a press conference, they say, that was supposed to hype the event. The attack was a result of a beef between McGregor's pals Artem Labov and Khabib Nurmagomedov or something, who was in the bus. He also was steamed. I guess he lost his title belt due to inactivity. Like, if you don't defend your belt soon enough, fast enough, like, you lose it. But he was released. I think they've charged him with some felonies. And Dana White, who runs the UFC, said today that there's worse shit that goes on in other sports. They made a ton of money from this fight, and could have been worse. But I don't know. The video doesn't. It looks pretty bad. You got it there, E.
Oh yeah, this is from inside the bus.
Fucking pussies! Dude, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck? Oh, shit. What the fuck? You alright, Mike?
There he is, crazy man. Crazy little leprechaun. Look at him go.
Yeah, look at him go.
Who's got me Lucky Charms?
Give me pot of gold.
What the fuck is wrong with him? Whoa.
He's got one of those gates.
Thank God his buddies are like tackling him to stop him.
Going berserk, man.
Smash the windows. That's why. Oh yeah, fucking Jesus Christ.
Still attacking.
Telling his boys to smash the windows.
He's got a chair.
They're closing the gates.
What a nutbag.
Yeah.
It's so funny watching this because this is a real thing, like compared to when I watch WWE and they have these same things happen, but it's
Hold on.
They threw a chair through our window of our bus, and we're stuck at the Barclay Arena. Mike Kies is cut really bad.
Did he throw that?
Yeah.
Connor, fucking throw this.
We need. Okay, thanks. Okay. Rosie, okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Carolina, okay?
Everybody can exit the bus. We're going to go in a nearby locker room.
guys, come on down.
The little leprechaun is gone.
Yeah, he's gone. He ran out. Look at these dudes.
Just tell me where.
Jesus, you say that, but it's not beyond the realm that some of this was set up.
You think?
It's not beyond the realm, man.
But it looks my point of saying it was that it looks so much different when there's real people being fearful versus like
actually cut,
right, oh crazy, there's a camera right in this guy's face. That's all I meant. But you're right. I understand that it would not be out of the realm that they would say, hey.
I mean, at some point it gets out of hand, but maybe it starts out as let's rabble rouse a little bit, be a rapscallion, for a moment.
And like Dana White said, we did over $1 million in tickets more than ever before after that. So it's like, yeah, didn't work out too bad for us.
Now is the time to contact Realtor Doug Steinert. Spring is the perfect time to list your current home and to go looking for your dream home. Winter's over and real estate is moving. Contact Doug today, 248-765-1781. He and the team at Century 21 Campbell will work to get you the absolute best deal on the sale and or purchase of your home. Doug's the man. He's easy to work with, and he's a great friend of the show. Call Douglas today, 248-765-1781.
Jay, how do we feel about braless women?
God, generally we love them, right?
Yeah, or girl. I shouldn't say women. 17-year-olds.
Oh, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I read this story, yeah.
Crazy.
I should have known where you were going with it.
Yeah.
Was there anything better than sitting in high school, looking to your right, looking to your left, and seeing a nipply chick?
Oh, no. Absolutely nothing better.
Right?
It was the greatest thing ever. Florida high school, and I got to be honest with you, man. I know I say that a lot. I don't know what the school is supposed to do. I feel like their response was not awful in this situation. So you've got a chick that shows up to school, and she appears to have a sweet set of titties. I mean, just an amazing, healthy, voluptuous set of titties, right?
Yeah.
She's got a long sleeve gray T-shirt on.
Can we please have one conversation that's not about my rack, Michael?
Sorry. No, not in this instant. But she doesn't wear a bra one day to school last Monday. I know. So the administrators are like, all right, you got to cover them sweet nips up with something because they're just distracting as all get out. And so Lizzie Martinez is her name, 17 years old, decided she wasn't going to wear the bra, and school officials in Bradenton felt she became the target of other students' stares.
Yeah.
Mainly the guys, and can you blame them?
No.
And here, he's going to pull up a better picture of her. So you can see that there's something there. And if you start exposing nips through that gray shirt,
yeah, sure.
I'm not concentrating on what fucking Mr. Steele is saying anymore.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mrs. McGillicuddy, I don't care what you're about to say.
No.
I'm staring at two nipples.
Oh my God, Lizzie's nips are on full display. This is amazing. This is the greatest day of school ever. I'm glad I didn't skip class today. So she says the humiliation began when the school dean called her into the office. Felt like she was being bullied by other students.
Male dean, female dean, what?
Dean Violetta Velasquez.
Okay, I was gonna say, if it's a dude calling her in, come on, don't be stupid, man.
Well, you know what? I know a friend who teaches, and he had he middle school, man, and he
inappropriate clothes, like
yes,
low
he has
cut
to
shit.
he has to go to a freaking of course a female teacher, but he has to kind of be like, hey, can you go say something?
Yeah,
this girl is wearing fucking
no
leggings
panties.
where you can't see shit.
Yeah,
I mean you can see.
Wearing a
can see it
miniskirt with
all.
no panties. What the hell? She's in 8th grade.
So anyway, they said that this distraction needs to be addressed. She told me that I needed to put a shirt on under my long sleeve shirt to try to tighten my titties. So they're hoping, look at that big boob shirt. Look at that big poops.
Oh.
So there's a big giant deer out the window. Anyway, they wanted to put a second shirt on underneath it to try and restrict them a little bit. And then they asked me to move around. So they got her basically just jiggling. Yeah. Come on, just jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Let's see what them titties are doing. Okay, all right. It's restricting a little bit. So
didn't they go Band-Aid, dude?
The second shirt wasn't quite enough. They're like, dude, I could still. I mean, they look amazing. I can still see the shit out of them. So then she's sent to the nurse's office. Then as soon as she walks in, the nurse hands her 4 Band-Aids. Not 2, 4.
Do the X?
2 to cover each nip, leaving her in tears. So she, of course, tweets about the incident. I decided not to wear a bra today and got pulled out of class because one of my teachers complained that it was a distraction to boys in my class. My school basically told me that boys' education is far more important than mine, and I should be ashamed of my body.
It's basically what they say.
How do you say that about the education? I mean, the body, whatever, I guess, but the education?
They pulled her out of class, not the boys.
Oh.
How did she come to that conclusion? Boy, is that a 17-year-old's mind at work right there?
So stupid.
They came to the conclusion that boys' education was more important than mine. No, they just felt like they didn't need half the class staring at Lizzie's titties.
No, in this environment, she knows if you can make a distinction between a male and a female treatment, then that latches on and gets her a bunch of retweets and likes and hearts and etc.
The school also, remember, Jay, told her that she should be ashamed of her body. Basically, was the message.
Basically.
That they told her. She later tweeted at the school, "Stop sexualizing my body."
What is the deal, man? Are there, like, you have to wear a bra? I mean, this can't be the first time a chick just went braless.
Yeah. Well, I think they're they say that they don't have a bra rule in the rule book. My guess is they will now. We wonder where these things come from, where you're like,
so it's a test case, right?
Yeah. And maybe it's something like, look, if you don't want to wear a bra, you got to wear 4 Band-Aids on your nips, whatever.
you pick either one.
Your choice. We're not going to make you wear a bra, but... So she tweets at the school, "Stop sexualizing my body." You know what the school did? They blocked her. They just went, "Yeah, fuck this bitch," and they blocked her on Twitter. Hilarious. The school district did say, "Look, we're trying to enforce the district's strict dress code. It's undisputed that this matter should have been handled differently at the school level, and corrective measures have been taken to prevent a reoccurrence." I wonder what those are. What?
You're probably telling the teachers and the administration, look, send her home. If anybody's wearing something that's distracting, send them home to change. Or have a parent come and bring them something else.
What if they bought...
Don't give them fucking Band-Aids to put over their nipples. Like, come on.
Yeah.
You're just asking for it at that point.
What if they just bought every size bra, A through triple F, and just had them in a closet somewhere, and it was like, all right, take your shirt off. What are we? You know, you hold them up, feel like that's a heavy C+. And you just go, all right, here you go. You can go home, or you can put this 36C on and then go back to class.
Ugh.
Would that work?
No.
And you make them gross. You give them those tan ones, you know, those just basic. You don't give them some hot.
Get them from Salvation Army or some shit.
Yeah. Used, preferably. I don't know. I thought it was a funny story, and I can't really blame the school. I mean, they don't want to send a kid home. They don't want to make a big deal. They have women handle it. And it's like, all right, try some tape. I don't know what to tell you, but you can't just go nip on and
you call the parent or you send her home. I mean,
you
get so detailed that you're giving her Band-Aid. I don't know. That's
well, it kind of reminds me. Remember that trans chick? Oh, that guy wearing the skirt.
Oh yeah, he's on the news.
Yeah, and he's like
big dong hanging out.
He's got pigtails and shit. And he's like walking with his fellow girl classmates. And he's walking around, his dong is just slamming against that tennis skirt. And it was like, this is hilarious.
That wily biology, I'll tell you what.
Oh, God, this poor girl with a giant dong. I mean, it really, really poor thing, you know?
Hamlin Pubs, they're inviting you to their 5 Metro Detroit locations. Come enjoy Hamlin Pubs' great food, their drinks, their atmosphere. Whether you're watching the game with your buddies, out for a meal with a family, or even out for an evening with your girl, it's always a great time at their Rochester, Clarkston, Chesterfield, and 2 Shelby Township locations. Don't forget, during April, use the hashtag DrinkHamlin. You can use that hashtag on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we will put you in a drawing at the end of the month for valuable prizes.
I know. I saw some people have already gone there.
Yeah, it's easy enough. Head out there and just grab a drink. That's the whole point. Hashtag DrinkHamlin. Of course,
or 10 drinks.
Or 10.
And dinner.
Have a meal, not just a meeting, but a meal.
Sure. go on out there and keep tweeting it for valuable cash and prizes.
Ooh, not cash.
Prizes.
Prizes.
Yes, the prizes. Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, he's a dick, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. He's punched people
Yeah.
who have, like, accused him of faking the moon landing. Like, he's gone to fisticuffs with trolls and, like, blasted him in the nose. And what are you going to do? The guy's, like, 88 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking, like, when he's 80. He's punched guys at, like, book signings at 80. Which is kind of tits, to be honest with you.
Can I get you guys' names?
Anyway, he's reportedly passed a lie detector test after recalling his apparent encounter with alien life during his 69 mission to the moon. Yeah. He was part of the test that also analyzed interviews from astronauts Al Worden, Edgar Mitchell, and Gordon Cooper.
Can we trust the results from an 88-year-old body? You know what I mean?
Well,
in terms of heartbeat and all that shit that they're looking at in a lie detector.
Here's the thing. I don't think they were taking a lie detector test at 88. And this is why I have a problem with this. They're taking their recorded accounts and running it through a newfangled machine and saying...
No.
Right? So recorded interviews of the astronauts were tested using the latest technology at the Institute of Bioacoustic Biology in Albany, Ohio. Experts claim the results prove they were completely convinced that their claims of aliens were genuine. Aldrin has always maintained he spotted a UFO on the way to the moon. There was something out there that was close enough to be observed, sort of L-shaped. Bioacoustics, the test revealed Aldrin is sure he saw the UFO, even though his logical mind cannot explain it. Last year, Apollo 15 pilots Al Worden, who was 86, claimed that he saw extraterrestrials during his mission. Voice recordings of NASA astronauts Edgar Mitchell and Gordon Cooper, they're both dead, were also analyzed and said that they claim they saw multiple UFOs, and they said that these are true as well.
Did somebody tell Buzz it's just the fluorescent bulb in the soundstage studio where he was doing his moon landing?
Yeah, I mean, dude, if he was here right now,
You son of a bitch! I saw an alien and I went to the moon!
He would punch your face. So, would you punch him back? Or would you just leg sweep him or something?
Probably wouldn't hurt, to be honest. You know what I mean? He's 88.
But it'd be kick-ass to be able to have the story that you got punched by Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah, it
you know
would.
What I mean, like,
I'd take it.
To have that in your arsenal, just to be, oh, dude, did I ever tell you about the time Buzz Aldrin punched me in the face? Yeah, no. The second man to ever walk on the moon.
Yeah.
Punched my face.
I challenged whether he even went to the moon. He got pissed. I don't know. It's weird.
He was talking about seeing an alien, like some L-shaped ship or something, and I was like, excuse me, sir, do you think from the soundstage you were standing on, it was like a incandescent bulb that you saw a reflection of? And he just walked up and said, you son of a...
Maybe it was part of the E of the exit sign over there.
It was glowing red. I swear I saw it. And then he punched my face. Yeah, it'd be a great story. They say that the technology is still top secret, but it's been claimed that these tests are much more reliable than current lie detector tests. Now, the reason I have a problem with this personally is half the fun of the lie detector test is the fact that they sit you down and hook you up to a lie detector test.
Yeah.
And now go. You're on the clock and everything. Like, if I come back and I tell some amazing story and I'm really believing it and doing my thing, that's different.
Yeah, but I assume this software accounts for that.
I would think, but I want Buzz.
You're right. I like him under the gun, you know?
Yeah, I want Buzz to sit down with a flickering light in the background and some guy asking him test questions about, is your name really Buzzard Aldrin? You know what I mean? Did you really go to the moon in 1969? Just like, you ever cheated on your wife, Buzzard? All those things. You ever punch a man for questioning your credibility? You're going to the moon? Like, all that stuff, and set the table.
Yeah.
And then do you see alien life? Because I don't like just pulling back statements from
that's
years
bullshit.
past.
It doesn't sound right, man.
Isn't that kind of cool, though? Because I totally believe. I think we're naive to think that there's not some other things out there. I think EU believe that, too.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So it's just funny that, why wouldn't we ever see this shit on video? Like, we've got amazing video of the moon.
They don't want us to, I guess.
I know, but I'm tired of just seeing that blurry
I know.
thing with, like, it's got, like, a hologram around it, and then it's gone.
So am I.
It's like, dude, no, get in there. Fucking A, man. I can see craters on the moon up
Tired
close.
of seeing that one Bigfoot picture, too.
Yeah. Need more of those. Anyway.
Hey, if you want to email us right into the show, send us your thoughts. Email at DetroitCast.com. That makes sense, right? That's easy to remember.
Easy.
Email at DetroitCast.com. Before we get to email proper, Mike.
Oh, for the love of fuck.
Well, I received a series of posts from one AA Ron.
Oh, okay.
And AA Ron's such a good lad. He does great work for us from PC Solutions.
Sure.
And apparently he has to go to El Paso or some shit a lot. So he's down in Texas and them parts.
Hell yeah.
So he sent us one here. Hola, mi amigos. Did you know? So he provides some great Texas facts here. The King Ranch in Texas is bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
King Ranch?
What do they do on the King Ranch? They rustle dogies?
I don't know.
I reckon they probably do.
You probably don't even see most of your ranch.
No,
You know what I
dude,
mean?
it's the
Like-
size of Rhode Island, man.
I know, but Rhode Island's just a wisp of a state.
The city of Slaughter, Texas, has never had a homicide, just lots of accidents. You
Is that what
like
they-
that one?
Is that what they claim?
It's ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Each year, Amarillo hosts the world's largest calf fry cook-off. Calf fries are fried bull testicles. Then he sent you another one. Eric, hands off this one, but Mike, keep on eating your prepackaged meals, and you'll soon look like these assholes. Why do they still make these postcards with guys
Does
like
that look
shot
new,
in the
though?
80s?
Or is this from the
Doesn't
80s?
that look like the 80s? Like,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this just douchey model guy.
Love those Texas cowboys. Like, man, he had to stand in line
Yeah, I know.
and buy this. I don't know how much it was.
You know what he did, though? He does, like, just when you're buying from the ebony aisle in Hallmark.
Yeah.
You know, you don't necessarily walk up to the clerk and go, I'm buying an ebony card. You turn it over, and they just look at the price, and they zap the price. He probably did the same thing.
Yeah, just like buying pornos back in the day. You know, you'd like throw in a regular movie and then just throw in another one.
Slide that in like it's no big deal.
Right.
Yeah, and here's my Gatorade and my condoms and my gum. You want condoms, but you walk out with like $20 of other purchases.
And by the way,
we've all done that, right? Like
Fuck
bought
yes.
50 other items just to make it look like I wasn't buying this.
No, see, that is the thing. The one thing when you guys slam the self-service at like the Meijer or something like that is the thing.
Right.
If you want to buy some condoms or kind of some weird topics, you can kind of just
I hadn't thought about that. It's been a long time since I bought some condoms. But Jesus, when's the last time you bought condoms?
I buy them. I just don't use them. I buy them almost every trip I go on just in case.
Oh, did this idiot tell you what he did over the weekend, Jay?
No.
He got halfway to my house to go to the concert, to see
Bobby?
Bobby Kelly. Calls me freaking out. He's left his wallet at home, wants to know if he can get in without his ID. He also at some point...
Dude, it's always something, you know?
Yeah,
it's incredible.
It's
incredible.
Like, his parents must just be at the end of their way. Hi, Mrs. Fady, by the way.
Mrs. Fady, good to see you.
They must just be at the wit's end.
Yeah. They've probably dealt with it for so long, it's just like, yeah.
Dude, I was thinking the other day about your lost cell phone. Why don't they make those things, the pocket chain, for the wallet? Why don't they make those for phones?
They should. They do. It's actually called Find My iPhone. It's an app.
But, I mean, have it actually physically chained to them. Wouldn't that help? Isis, would you wear one of those?
I don't know. It would look so bad, though.
Yeah, but it'd be kind of douchey but cool, right? It'd be like wearing a digital watch right
Maybe,
now.
maybe.
Like
You're
a big
right.
gold digital watch.
You're right.
He needs, even if he did, over the weekend, I get I texted him and was like, hey, dude, why don't you be here at 6:15? And I get a message back from him like an hour later. Usually he responds pretty quick. And it's a Facebook notification. And it just says, should I be there at 4:30 or something dumb? And I'm like,
oh, Isis. Did you lose your phone, too?
no. The night before, while he's house sitting again at the Kennedys, he somehow locked himself out of his phone forever, like changed his password and couldn't get into his phone. So it locked him up for a minute and then 5
iPhone
minutes,
has face
15
recognition.
minutes, an hour, and then he passed out, woke up in the morning, forgot he'd locked himself out. And so he had to go to the iPhone store.
Yeah, if you punch it too many times, it'll lock your ass out.
It
and then
did,
you have
honestly.
to clear it, don't you? The only way to get it back? Did you get your data back? Or
Luckily, I did back. It had been backed up like a week before.
wow,
so-
but it was wiped clean, right? That was the only way they
essentially,
opened it?
yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, I honestly don't have a clue how I changed my passcode. I must have, though, because this is what happens. I get back from the bar, and I'm sitting there, and I'm on my phone. Like, I'm on it. I'm IMing a friend even.
Change
and then
password.
and then
okay.
and then at one point, I start going like, okay,
see what that does.
blank, blank, blank. And then it goes, no. I'm like, yes, that's it. and I'm drunk, so I'm like, that's the fucking number. And I'm sitting there, and it's like a minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm waiting 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I'm going to seriously, very carefully go blank.
But you kept fat thumbing it, and you get it wrong every time?
No, I must have changed it, because when I went back to when I went to wipe it clean, and I'm trying to go, like, get my old information, one of the things you can do is, like, place your old passcode. It says place your old phone code in here, and it says it's wrong. And I know it's not wrong, so I don't know how I changed it. So it's 15 minutes, and I'm sitting there, I'm so fucking livid.
Did you pass out at some point on the couch or something where you could have, like,
it got to an hour.
Accidentally had it up and then laid on it and
Yeah,
put,
are
like,
you
one.
really blaming one of the greatest technological advances of our time? Are you saying that
I'm
went
that
haywire?
I did. No, I am assured. I'm sure that I did something stupid and somehow changed it, although I don't even know how, because when you change it, you have to, like, do it twice again and all this.
Was Dawn from Mount Lemons there?
No, she was not.
Not this time?
No.
Thought about calling her.
That was a whole other story.
Sorry.
That's fine. That was a whole other
Wait,
story.
what?
I don't know.
She's apparently a fucking totally insane person, and so even E has trouble justifying, like, man, I'd like to get it wet, my thing, and let it explode. That would be nice.
Have it stroked to completion.
Yeah, but she's just insane. And I guess she doesn't drive, so he's got to pick her up. And
it was a
so he has moral objections.
And she constantly wants to talk about her ex. And
There was
he
just-
doesn't give a fuck about... There's not a person on the planet that could give a fuck less about whatever you have going on in your life. You know what I mean?
That's not fully true, but yeah, whatever. But, like, I don't even know. But just to the phone real fast. So yeah, what happened was then it got to an hour, and he's right. I passed out. I put it on the ground. I'm like, fuck, I'll deal with it in the morning. I wake up in the morning, forget it. I do the code again. I just wake up and do the code, and it's like disabled.
Oh,
and I'm just like, holy fuck. Dude, you can use your
There's
face.
always something with this guy.
You could use your face to open up the iPhone. Like, that's the thing. But the problem is once it's locked, once it went into the 5-minute lock, 10-minute lock, then you need the code before the face will even work.
Dude,
so
he calls me, and he's trying to explain, and I'm just going, dude, I don't care. I'll see you at 6:15. Bye. Well, I had to get all the way.
way.
I don't care. I don't care. I know you don't know what happened or why, and I don't care.
Yeah.
It's always something. So I'm just like, spare me.
Yeah,
I'm
just be here, asshole.
Just be here at 6:15. Your car. You found your car, right? You have your car, your keys. Oh, dude, I left my wallet at home.
Which, by the way, I didn't end up leaving my wallet
back
at home.
and-
It was underneath the car seat. I just
But he still
couldn't
went
see
back to get it.
It was under the car?
The seat, under the front seat of the car. It got shuffled down. So I got all the way back. I'm looking through the house. It's not there. Then I look at the car, and there it is under the seat.
We need to just super glue shit to you.
No,
so it's just there.
Again,
all the time.
I harken back to this chain idea. If you can get one of those chains for phone and wallet, then we're set, you know?
Honestly,
we can chain it to one of the buttons on his tearaways.
I would give so much money to find out how I changed the passcode on Friday night. Like, I really would, because there's no way. I don't think I did. I don't think there's a way I did it. I don't believe that I did, and I know what the number was. It's just a weird.
So now you're claiming Apple did it. It's Apple's fault.
Sure, exactly.
Yeah.
So we went from acknowledging that it's his fault to now Apple's fault.
Sure.
Okay, wow.
I think we need to pierce him because, look, he's in the tearaways all the time, but every
Actually
6 months
implant like a...
he takes those off and changes them, and now the chain's attached to his tearaways. So if we were somehow go through a kidney or something and pierce him with a big bull ring and then have the chain off it, and so that his phone is always on him. Or just put one of those, like, chastity belts around his neck. You know what I mean? And then it's just always around his neck.
I went to the Secretary of State. This was like 4 years ago, maybe. This might have been 10, actually. But I think I lost my ID 3 times at least that year. And the lady knew me there. And I was just like, can I just get the chip? Can you just put a chip in my wrist? Like, I don't care about the government following me. I just don't want to have to come here every 3 months.
We'll save the rest for tomorrow, Mike.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us. E, I'm glad you figured everything out and got your phone back. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.